Good evening, K-Squid listeners. Good evening, Monterey, Central Coast, and beyond. My name is Luigi Opido, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers, right by the beach here in beautiful Santa Cruz, California. And for the next hour, I am your tour guide into a world of wonder, magic, information, and supreme frustration. That's it. I'm talking about the internet and the world of computing. I am your computer man. Welcome to one of the most helpful, friendly tech counters you have ever visited. I'd like to welcome you all of these people, everybody listening tonight to local KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQD Prunedale, 89.5, 89.7, and 90.7 FM, and always online at ksqd.org. Yes, we have a lot of things going on here. Of course, you're telling yourself, always, what are you going to do if I'm talking a little bit too quick and you want to listen to the show? Well, always jump over to ksqd.org where you can catch our amazing show on all of the shows for the last 2 weeks under our audio archive. Just click on the listening tab and then go to our 2-week audio archive. And you can listen to all of our stuff under there and see what's going on at the station, as well as hitting that beautiful donate button at the very top that allows us to exist. Yes, that's a very good and important step in being here with you tonight. So hit that donate button and we sincerely thank you for it. No corporate sponsorship here, no type of government anything. We are here for you, by you, and only for you. So, love to hear from you. 831-900-5773 is the phone line tonight, which is almost every night, I guess. And, well, of course, if you want to hear more Computer Man Show, if you want to go past the 2-week audio archive, you can always catch us on any of the local podcasting services or podcasting services that go all over the world, I guess, instead of local, but they are everywhere. And we do it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and on and on and on. Just search for the Computer Man Show on your favorite podcasting service, and you most likely will find us there. If you'd like to reach out to me after the show, Luigi at pleasurepointcomputers.com, Luigi, L-U-I-G-I, at pleasurepointcomputers.com, and our phone number here, 831-900-5773. I'm going to get up our email system, which is on air at ksqd.org. If you want to hit us over with the email, I'd love to hear from you tonight. Otherwise, we're going to get rocking and rolling. I've got Nyako in the studio again. This is like the third week in a row. This is amazing, dude.
Yes,
Great to have you.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. I'll
Yes.
clean up my mess here I just made.
Yes, and so we can start with this interesting news that's coming out of the United Arab Emirates. An Amazon data center was apparently hit by a drone strike, and is definitely affecting the cloud. So the Middle East conflict is certainly having an effect on all things, basically.
Do you have any idea of a percentage of servers that might be in that area? I can't imagine it's a large percentage. There's probably redundancies based on them, but it's probably some pathway that it's going through that's being blocked or stopped or hiccuped because it's not, it's pinging there and it's not responding or something. They're having to block them out or having to do those redundant studies and redundancy into some other location, maybe even.
Yeah, I'm not really too familiar with the infrastructure out there, but this is the first time a major U.S. tech company's data center has been disrupted by a military action.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
So it raises questions around big tech's pace of expansion in the region, and so. Yeah, it's really, really interesting. Well, AI is truly a global thing, so it kind of makes sense.
And they're touting it for how they found that guy. They hacked all those cameras and all the street cameras for years, I guess, to find the Khamenei guy, and they used AI in some way with those cameras being hacked to get a map of targets I was hearing about, and so that's how again AI was used one of the first times in this type of. Well, at least publicly, in a warfare situation that would allow multiple hits at multiple times, but also have exactness, and the program could tell them go now because it knew where all the data points were and where those data points were set, and then automatically set those data points. It's 2026, I guess.
Yeah, and so so this will probably be a rather small outage. I think that they had to shut things down, but they said that it should take them at least a day to bring things back up. So who knows? Okay. Maybe they have everything back up by now. But there's a huge amount of investment over there. I think it's over $15 billion by the end of 2029, and I guess a lot of NVIDIA chips for those data centers over there.
Oh yeah, watch the costs go up again for some reason because they have to rebuild those things, and so now all of a sudden the costs are even higher because right now if you're looking at a $54 Crucial BX Master solid state drive that's a 1 terabyte, a $54 1 terabyte drive on average right now is running about $189. So that's almost 4 times the cost. And if you go into some of the other things, like if you want to get any type of like DDR5 RAM, of course, I had a computer come in that had a specialty DDR5 machine on it, and the motherboard we think is gone, but I didn't have any of the DDR5 memory to test it, so I had to go buy some. And I found the least expensive 8 gigabyte DDR5 piece of memory that I could find that normally would have cost probably in the area of anywhere from, I don't know, maybe even $12.99 to maybe $19.99. Maybe let's go crazy and say even $29.99. I paid $174.94 for it. So it is happening. It's happening at us. It's happening to us. It's happening to me. It's happening everywhere. So it is crazy. And I have people that are going to local local shops like our local larger tech store that we have here in town, and they went to go buy a computer, and they said that they did not have them in stock. And so she brought me her old defunct, really broken machine and said, I guess I've got to fix this thing. And it's a very strange time right now. Very strange.
Indeed, it is.
Yeah. So, but to hear the data centers that were over there, I mean, there's, they're everywhere. But to have the actual data center be disrupted by war, it's fascinating.
Yeah, it's definitely a new one for us.
Anything else going on out there?
Well, I had messaged you earlier about something called AirSnitch.
Yes, in fact, I printed both of those out in my hodgepodge of packet. I brought in like an inch thick packet of stuff today. I was so excited. It has so many things. Yeah,
it's a really complicated situation here. It's something that's a vulnerability in the hardware, and it's at a very low level. It's at the layer 1 and layer 2 protocol of the layer of Wi-Fi protocol, and so
the AirSnitch thing here, yes, with the Xfinity Wi-Fi. So all these Xfinity routers, every router that comes from Xfinity, you go to Xfinity, you say, oh, hey, I want your service. They go, here's a really garbagey router, the cheapest router that we possibly can make, the cheapest thing that we can make to actually give the service that we actually sell, that we could go to the lowest bidder. Here is your device. And you go, oh, thank you so much. I'm going to pay $14.99 a month for this. You take it home with you, and then while you plug it in, it broadcasts an Xfinity Wi-Fi. And
a hotspot.
A hotspot, yes.
In addition to your private access.
Yes, so you have your Wi-Fi that you have designed. You're connected to, like Luigi's Wi-Fi, and Luigi's Wi-Fi 5 gigahertz or whatever if you have the band separated. And then there's also this Xfinity Wi-Fi that just pops up. And if you connect to it with a PC or a Mac, it has extra goodies behind it that will cause your machine to default to that, and you cannot connect to any other Wi-Fi if one of those are in place. I remove one a day at least from somebody's machine that comes into my shop when they sit down and go, something's wrong, I can't connect to Wi-Fi. I'm like, it's because you connected to the Xfinity Wi-Fi once and didn't go through the process of putting in your username and password or any of that kind of stuff. It just connects and it links you and it locks you in. But
that's
this
really strange.
Is even worse.
This is even worse because, apparently a paper was written and a series of vulnerabilities, a series of ways of attacking the vulnerability specifically are now out there in the wild. And this, of course, also applies to routers where you set up a guest network where you give someone a password or potentially it's an open guest network.
Sure.
But the deal is through the AirSnitch umbrella of attacks, it is possible to do this so-called man in the middle once again, and basically sit there like a spider and monitor all incoming and outgoing traffic from everything on that Wi-Fi router, that Xfinity router, that personal router, and there's no way to fix it. The only thing you can do is disable that guest access, disable the Xfinity hotspot, which I'm sure Luigi can tell you how to do that.
Yeah, you have to go into your app. So I don't know if anyone's sat down and gone into their modem and trying to change any settings. I do that constantly because I'm constantly doing this and setting it up for other people. They have locked out the setting, the 10.0.0.1. You just go to the homepage and you type in cuss admin and type in high speed, and then you hit enter, and then you get all the access to your modem that theoretically their modem, but you have access to the settings. Can't do that anymore. Everything is done through the app. And so you now have to get the Xfinity app on your Google Play or Apple App Store, and which also you can download the KSQD app as well in the same place. And from that location, from that app, you can go in and turn off your local Xfinity hotspot like that's inside your unit. And this is one of those all-in-one modem router devices. If you were to go and purchase your own modem, this completely goes away unless you have a guest network, like Nyako was saying, on your router. So we're talking about a all-in-one device, the modem router setup, that's going to be broadcasting this hotspot. And it was, again, I think, again, in my sunshine rainbow vision, I think that this was a great idea if it wasn't abused. It's a great idea to say, hey, anyone who has this system broadcasts a Wi-Fi hotspot, and if you, Xfinity customer, have a login and you don't want to sign into their person's network, or you're sitting outside and you can grab that network, you can sign on and get online. Oh, what a great idea. That's a great idea. That's a simple thing to do. It saves you data. It saves you a couple other things. The internet has kind of moved on, and now it's becoming this like sinister chokehold point for attacks. So
Indeed. And so, yes, and so this isn't an attack from the internet. This is using the Wi-Fi guest access surface to attack you. You're thinking, oh, it's separate. You are protected. There's a partition. But no, this gets past all that. This totally opens things up for an attacker to get in there and get in your data. And because these Xfinity hotspots are so ubiquitous out there, you can find them in almost every neighborhood. Yeah, that's the first thing I do is disable it.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, the second thing you should do is go down to Best Buy, spend the $89 on a surfboard or an Aris surfboard modem, and that will say 14, 30, 60, so that'll pay for itself in about 6 months of rental. And you've got your own modem that you own, that you have control of, and then you get your own separate router that you own, that you have control of, that you can do things with. And to set up a router and stuff is not that hard anymore. There's apps now that when you download the app, there's a QR code in the front, takes you right to the spot to download. You set up it, and it just walks you through. What do you want your name? What do you want your password? Give us a second to set it up, and it has become almost turnkey at this point, and it is recommended, especially with all this stuff. You are having less and less and less control. Take control of what you can. Get your own modem, get your own router, and negate. I at home, I don't have to deal with this. Now at work, I do, because at work I have one of the Xfinity modems. Now I have an Xfinity business modem router, so I have a lot more control over this kind of stuff, and I've turned mine off long ago. But my neighbor is blasting it into my unit, so so I've got to go talk to them. It's everywhere. So, but it is a vulnerability, and it's, someone has to be able to exploit it, right? The vulnerability is it's like saying, I left my window open last night. Well, is all your stuff still in your house? Yes, it is all still in my house. It's because no one exploited that vulnerability, right? And so it's the same thing with this. Granted, you might not have anything happen, but it does exist. So take control of something that you can if you know it's there.
Certainly, and this exploit goes all the way to the enterprise level, so business and enterprise. So this is seriously scary stuff. If somebody is out to get you, spying on you, watch out.
And Nyako actually sent me the list here how to get to it. So if you go to the Xfinity app, you navigate to Wi-Fi, and then you view the Wi-Fi equipment, which is like your modem, your router, and then you go to advanced settings, and under there's the Xfinity Wi-Fi hotspot, and then you can toggle it off. And it should take about 24 hours for it to actually go, because it's not when you're doing that, it's not actually controlling the actual modem. What it's doing is sending a signal to a server somewhere that's then going to send a signal when the server clicks over, or when it goes through its cycle, and it's going to then send it back to your modem in its due diligence time, because they have no rush to do this for you. We're busy, we're doing other things, and again, you don't have control. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, so that about does it for me. So I'm going to let you.
You want to talk about Waymo before you go?
Oh, Waymo.
Let's talk about Waymo before you go.
Why don't we talk about
this is
Waymo?
Awesome. Okay. So last week we talked about Waymo and all the problems that Waymo was having.
I was caught in that outage, and I was caught in hours of traffic, and it was horrible. And we spoke a little bit about it, but yes, Waymo issued an apology.
Right. Yeah, it said that I'm just going to see here. Its fleet stopped 1,593 times for 2 minutes or more during the outage. Oh my gosh! It said it sent staffers, tow trucks, received 64 of its Jaguar I-Pace electric cars. Jaguar I-Pace, interesting. But despite their apologies during the hearing, the city officials said they are concerned that the autonomous fleet could tie up first responders during life or death emergencies.
Yeah, and there apparently were cases where the first responders had to actually jump into a car and kind of move it manually, or other cases, we've seen in the news recently where cars have stubbornly blocked first responders to major incidents in the news recently. So Waymo is not catching some good vibes there from the first responders.
They said that the mayor, Daniel Lurie, texted Waymo's co-CEO when the power went out and only received an emoji replies of like thumbs up and stuff.
Yes, that's absolutely true. I kind of went in there and verified that myself. I could not believe it. And but later, there was some dialogue and and coordination, but still, it was a major mess.
Wow,
no doubt about that.
And this it's a new technology. It's a brand new technology. They're doing something ambitious, just to put some rainbows and sunshine on it. They're doing something very ambitious. They are. It's a different thing. And it's going against the grain. So there's going to be some weird stuff. This won't be the last time, but it's as all technology goes, we go through some weird times. So. We'll see how it goes. But we acknowledge today again that we did not meet our standards during the outage. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for having me on for your segment here. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nyako. Always good to hear from you. Come back next week. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to get into a couple other things. I've got scams. I've got new current events. I've got all sorts of stuff that we're going to talk about. And let's get into it here. Again, that's Nyako going out of the studio. Thank you again so much for your expertise and insight. Appreciate you always. All right, so let's see. So I've got a couple things I wanted to go for. First, let's see. Oh, this is something I want to talk about that again, whenever you get something free, you are the product, right? I always talk about Malwarebytes. Malwarebytes is a free piece of software, but they have other ways that they make money from it. They've actually been around for a while. They have a lot of people who pay for their paid service. So they allow this free service to exist where you can actually go on and scan stuff for yourself, and then you can go and get a scheduler and pay for that, right? So that's a free service, but it's still good. Adblock, getadblock.com that I always say to go to. Getadblock.com is a great service. It's free. It does have a donate button. You can give them a couple bucks, but I've always used it as a free service. I recommend that you also use it as a free service unless you want to donate to them and say yay. But again, free service, that's good. So when we go to things that we want to convert, so if there's a free service that takes one of our, like a JPEG image and converts it, let's say. Those necessarily, depending on what you're doing with it, they may take that photo and for the conversion and for the free conversion, take that picture and put it into a massive database and put it someplace else. We don't know. That's kind of out on the side, right? But when you do, and again, it would be in the terms of service, you have to read for that individual thing. I want to talk about when you put a document into a conversion. I see a lot of people who are using free document conversion websites, and I just want to say whoa on that, because a lot of these are trying to get converted into a PDF. If you're trying to convert something into a PDF, it's usually something you want protected. And by I say protected, I mean you don't want to be able to alter it, right? You want to keep the contents of the actual document the same as what it was. Right? So that's why you're creating a PDF. So if you go to a company or a website like I Love PDF, or if you go to another one like Small PDF or Cloud Convert, there's a couple other ones that are out there. Why are they free? What are they doing in order to make themselves free, right? And so that's what we ask. That's why I asked about Malwarebytes. What do they do? Oh, well, they have this paid thing, et cetera. So, okay, that's where their paid service is. If you use I Love PDF, someone went in and did a service. They were like, I'm curious about what happens and where my data goes. But if you upload a document to I Love PDF, that website sets 637 cookies from 221 domains onto your machine when you upload a single document. So again, this is about PDF conversions. This is about merging documents. This is also about any type of compressed images as well. So if you're using any of these free online tools, because you can do this with the program, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. You can do this with something you probably already have. This is one of the things that it's preying on people. You're using something for free, yes, but it's throwing your data into all this stuff, because now you're putting this incredible amount of it's not even necessarily surveillance, I guess. It's a really harsh word for it, but at the same time it is. It's monitoring cookies, and it's going to watch where you go and send it off to advertising places. This person, they said they audited the privacy practices of popular free file converter sites by inspecting the network requests, reading the privacy policies, and counting cookies in third-party domains. And they came up with I Love PDF, Small PDF, and Cloud Convert. And these are the three. So I Love PDF, which is what we started with. A single page load set 637 cookies, 221 domains. 141 of those domains belong to ad networks. Okay? So immediately you're getting blasted with ads. Or at least your stuff is now being thrown out there, and now it's coming back at you, right? Or it's going to be put on your computer, and as you're doing things, those little flags are going to be knocked up, it's going to be hit, and then it's going to be sending stuff back out, possibly tons of ad networks. So with that, so your uploaded files pass through servers that are deeply integrated with advertising infrastructures, and their privacy policy states that they may share data with third-party partners for advertising purposes. That's I Love PDF, if you ever use that. Small PDF loads a Google Analytics Hotjar, which is a full session recording, right? And multiple ad trackers before you even upload a file. And then their free tier processes files server side, meaning your documents leave your device, sit on their infrastructure, and then come back to you. And the privacy policy allows sharing with service providers and business partners. So that means they own your stuff. They can share it with whoever whoever wants to buy it. The last one, Cloud Convert, is kind of an exception a little bit based on this report. Minimal tracking, transparent pricing model, and the files are deleted from servers after the conversion. Still, the server-side processing, so you still offload your device, your file, you upload it to the server, it does something and sends it back to you. But excuse me, but it has significantly less advertising infrastructure compared to the other two or others, right? So most of the tools of these type of things are the same. This is the same kind of stuff. File conversion. It's a product you see, but the tracking background, the whole thing that's controlling this background, what you're actually uploading to is the hidden, man behind the curtain type stuff, right? And that's the actual business model. Again, we want to look at some of this stuff. When you download something free, what is the business model? Why am I getting this for free? Why am I getting some crazy game with all these graphics and everything like that? Oh, they threw an ad at me. Okay, that's why. There we go. I'm getting an ad. They're making ad revenue. Okay. But if you're going through a bunch of this stuff and you're not getting any ad revenue, and you have to wonder why. What's the motivation for someone to make this application, right? Is there stuff I can buy inside the game? Is there something I can buy outside the game? Can I make the game better because I have purchases? Where is it, right? Is it going to bombard me after I get into the game for an hour? Right? I'm going to get all set up and everything's going to be great. And then I hit a wall and I have to pay something in order to play further. And they hope I'm hooked. And that's what we're watching for, right? And especially if we're uploading data, if we're uploading our faces, or if we're uploading photos, if we're uploading PDFs with incredibly sensitive documents or sensitive information, or even just our addresses and our names, where is that data going, right? So what do we do instead? What do we use instead of a conversion website? Well, it's a little bit of a step, but it's not too bad. If you have, I've been touting LibreOffice forever. LibreOffice has a free PDF converter right in it. Most Word document programs have a free PDF converter built into them. There was one that I use personally. I use a protocol called Bullzip. And from what I can see, it is a PDF printer. So like you have an HP printer at home, right? You have an Epson printer at home. You have a Brother printer at home. Now you have a virtual printer that lives inside the computer, but it's in the list of printers. So you have HP and Brother and Bullzip. And so what you do is you type your paper. You're done typing, all good. Now you want to print it to a PDF. You want to, instead of sending it to paper, you want to print it to PDF. So you open up, you're all done. You hit Control P or Command P, and the print dialog box shows up. And instead of throwing it over to the old HP printer to put out a piece of paper, you're going to go on and actually hit Bullzip, and you're going to hit OK, and it's going to take a second. It's going to kind of go black for a second, and then it's going to come back with a file name box. You're going to type in what you want to name the file name, and then you're going to type in, or navigate to where you want to save it. If you want to save it on the desktop, do you want to save it on the C drive? Do you want to save it, the documents, wherever you want to put it? And then you hit OK, and then the document is now a PDF sitting in your computer, converted. Without going online, without updating something, without uploading some weird thing or whatever to some weird company. You don't need to do any of that. You have it locally on your machine for free. But again, a lot of the words, if you're typing in any type of Word document, Word software, Office, LibreOffice, OpenOffice, these have built-in PDF converters. You do not need to go anywhere. So if you can get a document from somebody and they're like, hey, I need this converted to PDF, don't throw it onto one of these websites. Please, if you can, just get one of these converters used inside Word or Excel, or Excel I guess actually also has it too. But inside the, whatever your word processing program is, LibreOffice, etc., will do it for you. So there is another one. Let's see. There's an open source project that does basically any type of file conversion you want, all locally. It's called convert.to.it. Convert to it. I haven't used it, but I was recommended it, and it looks kind of cool. So convert to it. And also, there's another one. If there's that website, I guess we'll do like you could do a web page to PNG, but also do some super random ones you never wanted to even mess with. Like you can go MP3 to PDF. That'd be really weird. So, all right, well, we got a phone call calling in here. We got a couple minutes before our break. Let's do that and see what's going on the real world. Hello, you're on with the computer man. How can I help you?
Hey, Luigi, this is Ray. How you doing?
Ray, good. How you doing, man? Long time no hear.
Hey, I'm just trying to get to where I can turn my radio down. So I was just wondering, I got that monitor and a new cable and.
Okay, so for our listeners, real quick, Ray has a high definition monitor. His high definition monitor has HDMI, DVI, actually has I think HDMI and a display port, and also has USB-C as an input for video. And then we have a USB-C video cable or USB-C cable from Apple. And then he has a MacBook with a USB-C out, one of the newer MacBooks that only have USB-C. Okay, just to set it up for everyone.
Yeah, pretty cool. But I get no signal on my monitor.
Yeah.
So is there a setting I'm missing somewhere? Or?
Possibly on your monitor, just because we just did a house call recently. I remember this. On the back of the monitor, when you reach on the right-hand side of the monitor, there's a nub. And what we have to do is we have to go into that nub, and you might have to choose the input. Usually it should be auto sensing. A lot of these monitors and newer devices are auto sensing, and all the ports are kind of live and listening and waiting for signal. And then as soon as the signal comes through, then it goes to that port, switches between DVI or between DisplayPort and HDMI and USB-C. But with this, we might actually have to change the input. So if you reach behind, you feel that little nub. I think you have to click on the nub, which will bring up a menu, basically in front of your hand, and then you kind of rock your finger back and forth to go through the menu and look for the inputs and choose the USB-C. Now there could be a possibility that if you got the cable from me, because we tried this we tried it when I was there. I think I had the cable from my computer or something, and I was giving you one, or there's something, or we tried another cable that worked, and it popped up, and then we proved that it worked, and then you came and got a cable from me, and I think that's the cable that's not working, right? Or did you buy another cable?
No, I got the yes, that's the cable. Yeah, the one I got from you is the cable I'm using.
Okay.
I did not buy.
Okay, so what we would need to do is I just purchased a new tool for my shop. It is a USB-C cable analyzer. And this is insane that I had to buy this stupid thing, but I did. And what it is it's this little box, and you plug in the USB-C cable on both ends into this box, and it sends a signal through the USB-C cable and tells me which type of cable it is. And it can be one of like 15 different types of USB-C cables, depending on if it has a chip in it. Does it not have a chip? Is it USB 3, USB 2, USB 2.1, USB 3.1? Can it do power? Can it do 120 volt? Can it do 60 hertz? Can it do 120 hertz? It goes and goes and goes and goes. And so I would like to see that cable. I have my tester. And then what'd be really interesting is actually just to bring the monitor with you if you can. Or I bring my basket of USB-C cables to you, and we go through every single one. Ideally, bring the monitor and your laptop to me, and we schedule a little time that we can spend 45 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever, and just start plugging every cable in and see what's going on. The other thing I was thinking of with your machine and with a lot of MacBooks is if you have multiple USB-C spots, I would try all the slots, and I would also have the machine open, plugged in, monitor on, and turn the computer completely off, and then restart it. And then if that doesn't work, shut it down, turn it back on with everything plugged in, and see if it livens up the monitor. The monitor should receive a signal from that cable, unless for some reason I gave you one of my Apple USB-C cables that for some reason was like an older version that doesn't have the video line in it. And that's literally what I'm finding. I'm finding multiples of these cables from the manufacturers, from these factories, that don't have some of the cables inside, which is why I had to buy this piece of expensive equipment to be able to tell which ones are what, so I can help with my diagnosis. It's driving me crazy. I'm going through some of these cables, and I'm going, this is not working. This should be connecting. I walk it over to another machine, it connects. I walk over to that machine, it doesn't connect. Why is it happening? The USB-C cable is not communicating properly with the Mac, but it is communicating properly with the PC because it's some rando version that came out with something that somebody used as a charger, and they all of a sudden plugged it in their hard drive, and now they're using it for that. It's nuts out there. So I would like to double check that cable, but ideally I'd like to have the entire assembly with us so we can confirm that our connection and the cable that we do choose will work properly.
Sure, I can do that. God, do I still have the box for that thing? I don't know if I dumped it or not. But I'll get it. I'll bring it down there.
Okay, awesome.
Are you around tomorrow afternoon then?
I was actually going to grab my phone to look at my schedule, and I do not see it in front of me. So I was going to, let me see. I should be around. I'm there most of the day tomorrow. I think I'm catching up on a couple jobs, etc. So I should be there tomorrow at the shop. Let's just take a look real quick. Yeah, looks like I have, I've got a couple people that are coming to pick up. So yes.
So like 3:30ish.
Okay. We could do 3:30. Bring that monitor down, and I will take care of that for you. Let's put it in the books. 3:30.
Put it in the van right now.
All right. Awesome, dude. Great, man. Well, then I'll see you then.
Yeah, thanks a million.
You're welcome. And that leaves the phone lines open for you here, 831-900-5773. So we even set up a house call today. That's a unique one, right? So Ray's coming in to the shop. And you too, if you're around Santa Cruz and you have a question, comment, concern, my shop, Pleasure Point Computers, 1824 Soquel Avenue. We would love to see you. We're in between Morrissey Boulevard and Capitola Road and the old Santa Cruz Kitchen and Bath parking lot, about a block down from Walgreens. You can find us there, and we're there Monday through Friday. So love to hear from you. So let's take a quick break here at KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid, 90.7 FM, and always online at ksqd.org. This is the Computer Man Show with your host, me, Luigi Opido, from Pleasure Point Computers here in beautiful Santa Cruz, California. We are going to fire through some scams and some highlights, or some headlines that are going on right now, because I really want you guys to all know about it, but we only have about 20 minutes left in the show, so we're going to fire through this stuff, okay? Okay, so first, I got a scam today in my email that was an e-document online signature service portal via Xerox online document scanner on sales at purtonwindows.co.uk. That was the person's email address, by the way, just to let you know what that was. So it was an e-document online signature service portal via Xerox online you have received the following DocuSign. It's this ACH disbursement addendum, 3rd of March. Oh, disbursement. If you don't think you didn't win the lottery, right? So just don't click on this stuff. This one got through. I'm not sure, probably because it was sales at purtonwindows.co.uk. So their email got hacked. I have not purchased anything from Purton Windows, but they would not be doing an ACH disbursement to me. Therefore, I did not click on it, but I opened the email to read it. And that's usually okay, right? Because you can open the email, you can look at it, see what it is. As long as you're on a decent email service like Gmail, Proton Mail, etc. If you're on Yahoo or things like that, it's a little bit more questionable to open those type of things because you don't have pixel protection or any of these type of things that might load that single dot, and you might still get yourself in a little bit of trouble, slightly. Okay. Right now, there's another scam going on, a Chase Zelle scam. So basically, they will call you. They'll spoof a number. They'll spoof the Chase number, call you, and ask you to authorize to send $1,000 or $100 in Zelle payments to someone. Then they give you a case number that they say that starts with JPM to try to get you more credibility, like Jack Morton Chase or whatever his name was. Anyway, and I know it wasn't Jack, but I like that. And then they transfer you to someone else who calls you. And then says that you need to now authorize the cancellation of the fees, which never appear in your account to begin with, by adding a new Zelle recipient. Okay, Zelle. If we talked about Zelle a little bit, it's a kind of a weird thing. Zelle is an app, but it's not like an app like you download on your phone, which you kind of can, but you don't. You download Zelle and then you install it inside your banking app. Okay, so it's kind of like how we have AdBlock installed inside of a browser. It's like an application running inside of an application. Do the same thing on Zelle. Zelle is a way to send money between banks without using like a third-party thing like Cash App or something like that, but it's done without so multiple banks can send between each other. Like if I'm in my Chase app or my Wells Fargo app, I can't send my Wells Fargo money to my Chase app easily anyway. There's no way to do that without doing wire transfers and old school stuff like that, right? So Zelle gets installed on both my Wells Fargo and gets installed on my Chase, let's say. And then now I can send money from Chase to Wells Fargo using Zelle. That's the protocol. That's the thing that goes across. So what they're trying to do is add a new recipient, and that way they can have direct access to a fund if you want to sell them and send them something, right? But so again, the sophisticated part of this, it was the original incoming call spoofed an actual Chase branch phone number, okay? They're doing this. This happens. So if you get a phone number and it says it's a local branch, and like, so right now, like my phone number is not a local 831 area code phone number. So I have gotten a couple scams from the same area code that my phone is in. And it's a local thing to my phone, but not to me, saying that I'm local to this thing, saying, oh, something's going on. But they're purely basing it on my area code, thinking where I am, right? And that based on that, then they build the scam and go, oh, Mr. Man, this is what you need to do. But because I have an East Bay phone number, my East Bay phone number, then they start saying, oh, this is the East Bay thing. We're going to right down the street from you. You have a problem. But I'm like, no, you don't. You're a liar. Click, right? So that's it. And like, they can spoof a phone number now. And they've been able to do that for a while, but it's become much easier to do it, and that's what they're doing. So it's possible. It happens. And, just, again, be careful out there. It's becoming increasingly easy to spoof a phone number. That means completely fake a phone number and make it say like you're calling from the White House or wherever you want to say. It's easy to do that. So never give out any information on a call that you did not initiate. Okay, if it's something, and I'm telling you, be harsh, be rough, be tough, be hard to deal with. The companies that are calling and doing the stuff that are legit, that actually need to get money from people, know that a lot of people are being scammed and that they're going to run them through the rigmarole. I don't believe this is you. You have to call me back. Blah 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 blah. All these things. Fine. Okay, no problem, sir. They would, and a lot of these, if you call the bank, they're not going to ask you for your password. They're not going to ask you for your account number. They might ask you for the last 4 digits of your account number, but they're not going to ask you to, we have the last 4. Can you confirm the first 18? Nothing. And that's what these scammers are doing, because that's the super easy way to do it. We don't have to write software. Just call up and say you're the bank, right? We talk about that all the time. So again, This can happen. It's spoofing phone numbers happen, and it's happening all the time. Heads up. Okay, there is a new California law it's either being proposed or it's going in. Let me see. Or they're implementing a law, and they have passed Assembly Bill 1043, the Digital Age Assurance Act. They'll take effect on January 1st, 2027. So next year, it requires all operating system providers to include an age check during account setup, meaning that users have to provide their age of birth and date. Age of birth date, basically, or their age or their birth date, right? So this is weird because Linux kind of negates that just the way that it exists. So, but also the law's definition of an operating system and provider is also very broad. It covers like major systems like Windows, Mac OS, Android, iOS, Steam OS if you're on a Steam box or even one of the Steam Decks, but also potentially Linux distributions too. Now, if you sit there and you go, hold on a second, I have an operating system that's loaded in my fake VCR. It runs a little Arduino thing that's running operating system. Are you telling me that before I load the operating system or the firmware into that little tiny chip, there's going to be an age verification inside that? It's kind of weird, right? That when you start getting into things like that. If you look at your shiatsu massager, right? That thing has an operating system in it. It's running a very, very low level set of programs that most likely has some basic level of Linux in it. Is that going to have an age verification thing when it first turns on, or when you install it, or do the people who install it at the factory have to put it in? It's weird. It's a little bit of a weird thing, but it's also very broad. So the OS providers must make the information available to app developers through a real-time API. And developers will get users' age brackets, like under 13, 13 to 15, 16 to 17, or 18 plus, and then the app developers are then legally responsible for tailoring the content appropriately based on that age signal. I get what they're trying to do. I get it. They're trying to get you to, as soon as you're in the environment, you are confirmed without doing the actual ID check. Do you kind of see how that's going? So right now, everyone is doing this like age verification, do a facial scan, blah, blah, blah. And it's like freaky and everyone hates it. No one wants to do it. No one wants to put their face into AI and double check that you're old enough or whatever. And they're making fake faces and everyone's going around it. There's already people programming to get around it. Everyone hates it. It's awful. It's awful. So California saying, we're never going to do that to you. We're never going to do that to you. And, being California the way that it is, which I appreciate that, but they're trying to go around it another way. They're like, okay, well, fine. If we're not going to do that, we're not going to do an age verification based on your face. We're going to say that anytime you sit down at a thing that you have a username for, your username has to be confirmed that you're that age. And then based on that username, that's going to feed through to all the other systems and say that you're over 18 or you're under 16 or wherever you are. And then that is going to be the way to log out and lock out of different age placement that you're not supposed to be in. So if you are a 16-year-old and you want to go to an adult website, you can't because the username is physically set up for someone else. Now you can see where we're going here, right? If mom or pop leaves their username up, then all of a sudden, so what are we doing, right? So then now is mom or dad viable for little Ricky seeing something bad? I mean, it's an interesting angle to take, and I get it. But again, this stuff doesn't really go the way that it should. Oh, also, real important, most important thing of the night, I wanted to give Penelope a giant shout out. Penelope, I love you. You're doing awesome. I'm super proud of you, and I think you're great. So high five in the air. Shout out to Penelope. All right, so moving on from here, we're going to move on from this new California law. Let's see what we have next year. Ooh, this is actually something good. Ooh, I put this later because I thought it would be good, and I want it to be awesome and positive, and there's so much negative going on. But this is something really cool. So scientists at Microsoft's research development place, or wherever it is, it doesn't actually say, that's funny, has developed a system called Silica that can actually encode huge amounts of data into ordinary pieces of glass. And it uses this like really quick laser pulse, right? So it like pulses lasers, and I think it probably like fuses the glass in a certain way that then is read in a binary matrix or something like that. But the technology can store the equivalent of 2 million books in a palm-sized glass square and could preserve the information for more than 10,000 years. So that's cool. Right now we're talking about data degradation, right? We're talking about solid state drives that go away. We're talking about, solid state drives, if you use them as external hard drives and don't plug them in and read the data will just start to seep away. Will just start to go away. And so everyone's great. Solid state drives are awesome for computers that use every single day. But if you're doing something externally, if you're doing something on the outside of the world, you want to make sure that's not it. You want to put it on something magnetic at this point. Even SD cards, I think, have some type of I think they're better, but it's, but okay. So just to let you know, I just took out a camera that I had found long ago, and it had photos from a Christmas back in when these cameras first came out, 2006 or something. So that is a memory stick, a Sony memory stick that kept the data on it for 20 years. So that's basically the biggest, the kind of the test that we have right now. The devices existed and time has passed. And then can you go back to that device and the day it was purchased, the day that it was manufactured, the day that you got it, took a picture, took a thing, saved a piece of data. Can you read that data 20 years later? And that's what we're talking about, right? If you plug a solid state drive in after 3 years, a lot of your data is going to be bad. So if you have an external drive that you're using as a solid state drive that is not plugged into your computer all the time, you are asking for spiciness. You live on the edge. You like to do things a little different than everyone else. Now, it's more of on the line of you got to make sure that you're plugging in. There's actually programs now that when you plug in a solid state drive like that, if you're using it as an external drive, that will go through the data and actually will read all the data and make sure that everything's live again and kind of refreshes it. So then you can put it back on the shelf and come back to it in 3 or 4 months or something. Now, if you are using it all the time, again, it doesn't really matter because the drive's constantly being written to, it's constantly being refreshed. I have a solid state drive in my laptop. My laptop gets booted up about every maybe 4 or 5 days, depending on if I go to house call or anything like that. And with that, here we are, right? It still works. I haven't lost any of my data. I'm not worried about losing any of my data. You haven't heard stories of people randomly losing their data like that, right? So this silica, the glass thing, that's so cool. Of course, still in research stages, of course. But it said one writes high density data structures, and the other one has subtle changes in the glass refractive index for a faster, energy efficient writing. Even with the faster method, data density and stability are far beyond conventional archival media. I mean, we're talking about, they were saying 2 millimeters thick. It was 120 millimeters by 120 millimeters. Okay, I am an ignorant American. And I want to see, I'm pretty sure because I have case fans that are 120 millimeters. I think it's about 4.5 inches or so. Yeah. Okay. So 120 millimeters or 12 centimeters is 4.72 inches. So 4.75 inches. So yes, just like those fans I have at work. So that is a 4-inch by 4-inch by, gosh, super thin piece of glass. Could store it was like 400 terabytes or something like that. Some ridiculous amount of data. That's super cool. So that's really cool and positive. Yay. Okay, that's really good. All right. Last thing I wanted to do. Right now there is a giant movement to cancel ChatGPT. You might have seen this. You may have heard of this. You may have heard of the whole Anthropic thing that happened with Claude and Anthropic and the military, and then all of a sudden ChatGPT, and now we're canceling ChatGPT. Why are we canceling ChatGPT? Okay, so just a real quick rundown before we get to a few email questions before the end of the show. Anthropic, or I think it's Anthropic. I think it's the name, how you say that. So they had a contract with the military, some $200 million giant, AI contract thing, and basically the military is like, hey, everything's great, we're loving what you're doing for us, but you still haven't shut off those safeguards. And Anthropic's like, what? And they're like, you heard us. It's like, you still haven't shut off the safeguards. We want to put this on like weapons and stuff, and you have too many safeguards. We want 100% control over it, and you still have these safeguards in place. They haven't been removed yet. And Anthropic's like, yeah. And they're like, well, you got to remove them. And the Anthropic's like, no, we're not going to do that. And it's like, if you don't remove them, we're going to make you in violation. We're going to make you a supply chain threat or something like that. And it's like, one of the worst things you can do in wartime or something is have your business be a supply chain threat so that you'll never get a contract again and blah, 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 blah. And they're like, okay, yeah, let's do that. And so they did. And Anthropic stood their ground and did not allow control of it. In comes Sam Altman, Mr. ChatGPT, Mr. AI guy that's doing all this other stuff, and he's like, yeah, we'll do it. Okay, no problem. And so they immediately stepped in and signed the contract. Now, granted, what did they sign? We don't know. We don't know exactly what they did. But because of that, everyone's like, what is up with that, man? Putting AI. So I've seen Terminator. I'm a kid of the 90s. I don't need that. I don't need that. I've already gone through Baghdad and stuff. I remember going down to the store and picking up the issue of Punisher in 1991 that had him strapped across that huge giant tank, and stuff. I mean, it's been my whole life, all of this stuff, right? And so now we're back in it, but now with AI. So I invite all of you to go watch The Matrix. And see how AI works out, in the future. But the cancel ChatGPT thing, that's where that comes from. So I also would, you can uninstall ChatGPT. It is a thing. I actually, I did not use ChatGPT for anything except for to summarize this article. That was the cancel ChatGPT article. So I just wanted to use ChatGPT to have it read back to me an article about how I should cancel itself. So I don't know, that kind of stuff. That makes me like smile a little bit inside. So all right, let's go to a caller real quick. We got a few minutes before we're out of here. Let's see if we can take a quick one before we say our goodbye. So let's see what's going on the real world. Hello, you're on with the Computer Man. How can I help you?
Hey, Luigi, how's it going?
Hey, good, boss. We have only a few minutes. What's going on?
I was listening to your thing about getting a router. I have Xfinity too, and I'm paying it for per month for my Wi-Fi here in Salinas and in Fresno. Is there a way I could buy another one?
Yes, sir. So all you got to do is the brand is Aris, ARRIS, Aris,
Okay,
and you're going to get an Aris. It's called a Surfboard. Really easy to remember. Santa Cruz, remember Surfboard. An Aris Surfboard modem. There are a few that I believe everything is on what's called DOCSIS 3.1 or 3.2. Most likely, if you go to any current retailer of electronics like Best Buy or Good Guys or any of these, or no, Good Guys, Best Buy, Good Guys went out of business 25 years ago. Best Buy or anything like, if you go to Best Buy, they're going to have the current day stuff. Or if you go to like Santa Cruz Electronics or something, if you go to a local store that has electronics, usually they're going to have the current day modem that has the protocol that you need. But that's the main thing. I think they're on DOCSIS 3.2, and we just want to make sure that it is that. So if you buy a modem like that, it's really easy to get it set up on your own service. You just have to have the Xfinity app on your phone.
Oh, and another thing, once you do that, you can't use the Xfinity Wi-Fi, right?
Correct, because you right now have an all-in-one, TV VCR combo box. You have a router modem combo. You have the modem that comes in that translates the actual coaxial signal, and you have the router that turns that one signal into multiple signals plus Wi-Fi. So yes, if you turn in your modem, now they do have Aris Surfboard modem routers. That are kind of like an all-in-one modem Wi-Fi unit. They're a little bit more expensive because there's more components inside. I tend to not recommend those units just because if like the modem dies, but you've got a router that's trapped in there that you also have to replace. So I like the standalone things, like a modem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I used to have a D-Link router when I first got Comcast, but then it went berserk, and then I bought I have an older Netgear, and it still works. So I have my own router with that connection with Netgear.
So the only thing I'm going to say, because we're talking online and we're talking to everybody out there too, if you have an older Netgear, what I would want you to do, and this takes a couple extra steps, and even if you dropped it by my shop, I'd be willing to do it for you. We need to make sure that the firmware can be updated. One of the first things I do what's that?
Mm-hmm. Could I drop an email and you could tell me how to do it or something?
Oh, yeah. Drop me an email. Yeah, and give me the model number. Like on the back, you're going to see, R6500 V2 or something. It's going to have a model number. Send me that, and then I'll look up to make sure that it's still a validated router. If it is, then when you turn it on, you're just going to get an update. No problem. But if we use the router and it's not good, the second you go online, because you're on a rotating IP address, you don't have a static IP, you're on just the rotating IP address that everyone goes through. Those IP addresses are inundated with garbage the second they get connected. And the routers nowadays are literally stopping that inundation of just garbage coming at you all the time. The router will literally stop that. But if you don't have a current firmware, you're going to get hit.
Oh, and another question before I let you go.
Yes.
I have my dad bought this Costco Samsung camera, a DVR camera.
Nice.
It has like 16 cameras, and we haven't installed them yet. We're going to install them at our duplex in Fresno.
Okay.
And is there a way to update the memory on that thing? Like we haven't opened it yet. Like it's still in the box. And is there can you make it up to 4 terabytes or something on that memory?
So we would have to check the model number. Some of those are solid state memory that are actually built into the boards. A lot of them are just hard drives that are stuck in there. So if we can find you another hard drive, you could put a 16 terabyte or a 20 terabyte in there if you can find it. It depends on if what the internals are, and most of them do have standalone DVRs with a standalone hard drive. But I would need to see the model number to check.
Because I called Costco and they said it could be upgradable, and that way if I put those cameras in my property in Fresno, it's gonna be more they're gonna lower the insurance.
Oh yeah, dude. It's great.
It has that. And I don't like that cloud stuff,
Yes.
I'm not too happy with it, and I'm nothing bad about what's going on in the Middle East, but the U.S. is always FAFO all the time, and FAFO on Amazon, and that's what happens. Like that one song from the what's called the Stiff Little Fingers. Just wait and see.
Yeah, dude. I hear you, dude. And that's absolutely the truth, right? So yeah, we're gonna find out and see, dude. I appreciate the call, man. Always glad to hear from you.
All right.
Thanks, dude. Give me that email and send me both those model numbers. We'll get it figured out.
All right then. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome, dude. Take care. All right, leave the phone line. Well, I was going to say, leave the phone lines open for you, but we're out of here. If I missed your call tonight, you can always reach me by email, Luigi, Luigi, at pleasurepointcomputers.com. Remember to tune into the Computer Man Show Tuesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. here on 90.7 FM, K-Squid, KSQD. I'd like to thank all my listeners and my callers. Thank you, KSQD, Sandy Stone, Hara Feldstein, Rachel Tippett, Gary Tippett, John Sanders, all of Santa Cruz, Nick Tesla, the Wasmers, Casey, Torvalds, and of course, the humble Electron. Thank you again, Santa Cruz. I'm your Computer Man here on K-Squid, KSQD 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. Stay tuned right here for Be in the Night. I hope you all have a positively charged evening. Until next time.